Hello, everyone. Bill Molyneux here for Bill's Wargame World, and welcome to the basement. We're going to talk about Historicon 2024. And first of all, we got to say, Goober the Traveling Bear had a great time. We did pictures with a lot of people, including a couple movie stars. Ron Perlman, who starred in the movie Gettysburg, is he helped with a lot of the stunts and the horses. We also met up with Jason Skelke of Sharps Rifles. And speaking of that, we got several of his books for a couple different friends, and we'll be mailing them off to Old Fort Niagara, to Will Emerson and Sheriff John. So we're going to get Goober out of the way. And I don't know what you bought at Historicon, but we bought some books. We also found a few of my favorite author, Donald Featherstone. So Gilbert the Traveling Bear is a lot of fun in a way. Some people think he's goofy. I'd like you to all know that when you're watching these videos, you're helping to raise money for a different historic site each month. I'm taking a lot of pride into this, both my history channel and the wargaming channel. For the Historicon event, with the help of Jim Perky and his great Pickett's Charge game, we have raised almost $300 in video views. Thank you, everyone that watches this channel. And that money is going to be donated to the Gettysburg Foundation around the second week of August. I'll make arrangements to take Goober and do a couple pictures. I also like to shout out to Cliff Bunkin. He made a big donation also, and so did Justin of Cotton Jim's vendor sales. He's down in Williamsburg. So we got that out of the way. So what else did we buy at Historicon? Well, we got the books, Donald Featherstone books. Now, as you can tell, I love older war games, and I am a war game designer myself. But we got The Great Redoubt by Yaquento. And my Pickett's Charge game I lent to someone years ago. I've never seen it again, so I got another one. So, and Fred the board game sailor, he sells the games at the flea market, and he had a great deal on that for me. Well, we also picked up another board game, Napoleon Wars. It was really well priced, down to $20. I couldn't pass it up. Well, what other things did we have? Well, we're going to talk about the last few items I got. David Wood of the Hawks. He received a donation, and he knows I do 54s. So he went and turned it over to me. So David Wood, thank you. And the person that donated the Jeep and the half tracks and some figures, they'll go to work. Now, Ron Perlman, the Pretzel Snyder King, as I call him. I bought several vehicles from him. I got a couple Pumas. Pretty cool. What else did we get? We got a Hetzer from him. Now, when I was in France, in Normandy, they had one of these in front of the museum. It's much smaller in real life than you would think. It's really the size of a Tiger II turret. And we got a really cool Martyr. Thank you, Ron. We got another Hetzer. Just really appreciative of, and we also received an early war Czech tank. They'll go with my other one. And he also gave me some figures, which is really cool. And I got to return his plastic tub. Pardon me for a minute. So, the War Game Convention at Historicon this year, I did not run a game. I helped Jim a bit, not a lot. He really ran his Pickett's Charge game fantastic. What I did try to do, because I needed to be able to run home if I needed to be with my wife with her health issues. So I didn't run a game this year. I helped out a bit with the Chuckleheads, and you can see that video. So I try to make a lot of different videos and interviews on my Wargame channel. And I'm hoping you'll check them out. I actually have them on a playlist, Historicon 2024. And there's a couple walkabouts, both Friday and Saturday. There is some interviews in the dealer hall on military matters. Also, Blue Panther Games. They're my printer for my board game company. And I try to mingle a bit and just interview people. Shelby Thompson, who I helped, I worked with her last year. We did Fort William Henry that she built with her husband Steve. We had a lot of French Indian War games we did last year together. I had to leave mid-time to come home to my wife for a family emergency. So one of the reasons I didn't run a game this year. But Shelby won 2 awards, not 1, but 2. And her and Steve, they ran some great games. I made several videos of their games. I did their Mummy game and also their French Indian War game, and also their other French Indian War game. So check out those videos, and there's a lot of cool video footage. So if you missed Historicon, watch that. Now let's going to name this the good and the bad and the ugly. So the good is I got a lot of cool stuff at Historicon in my scale of 54 and some old board games. Got to meet and talk to a lot of great people. So that's sort of the good. And then we have the ugly part. The ugly part, I'm going to say, the ugly part, I'm going to say the site is great once you get in it. And I think it's condensed enough that you can get around once you get there. However, getting there and parking, they only have maybe 14 handicap spots. Parking there is an issue. I heard from several people that they had issues with parking. And in our group, we have Derek, who has some mobility issues. And there was no special handicap parking left for him. So we have that as far as ugly. And also, for me, I felt the tables, and this isn't to be negative to our wonderful HMGS and convention directors and everything, but the tables and chairs were a bit tight in some parts in the Commonwealth room, or whatever it's called, the main big room on floor 2. Some of that I think was because tables were being moved a bit, and there was an awful lot of chairs. I got there on Wednesday and you couldn't move. There was chairs everywhere. I spent over an hour just stacking chairs along the wall. So tables could have been a little bit spread out more, and the chair issue, but nothing major. And then I know a lot of people complained about the lighting. Other than bringing in giant light bulbs or something, the lighting is what it is for some of the rooms, and other rooms the lighting was great. And there's not much you can do about that, I don't think. But so that's for the ugly parts for me on Historicon. I'm going to say, nothing is perfect in this world, including my board games when I get bad reviews. So we'll move on to the bad. I attended the meeting for HMGS, the board meeting. I was at the members meeting, and I would like to say I'm surprised how few people go. I haven't been to one. There was a time I was very involved in HMGS politics and would be at all the meetings. But I made a special point to go and talk about trying to expand the hobby in this sense with YouTube. There's many channels out there. Mark's Game Room, of course, Little Wars TV is the flagship of YouTube. But in my trying to help promote the hobby and military history with Goober the Traveling Bear on both my channels, I am actually being reached out by more and more sites and mini war game conventions. We have the Hawks. So we have Williamsburg Muster. you have ScrumCon, and there's a little group of small conventions that I know of for a fact from late January through March. And with Cold Wars coming on, as it's being rejuvenated, I wanted to make sure that the board knew about all these different small conventions because I'm not sure if they're aware of them all. There's a new one starting up at Belvedere outside of Washington, D.C. on the Virginia side, I think. And that one's also in January or February. They have a date floating. So that's going to be my bad that the meeting, I'm going to say some people were a little testy. There are still some issues regarding different things in the finances. I think the treasurer and the president, John and Steve, did a good job trying to explain things. And, they're running things the best that they can. And I think that's about it. I have full confidence in the board. Frank, Prez, and Michelle, they're going to run the new convention. And that's it. Stay safe, be kind, and be courteous.